says hopefully you'll watch it on the, I'll save it so that you can watch it. And I'll probably post it to my YouTube as well, but I actually just wanted to come on here to talk about a few things. Actually just to talk about what I have posted in my Instagram live story for this morning. So you'll see that I have a devotional posted for today from, hi, hi there, how are you? So for a while I was just talking to myself and hey there. So really I wanted to get on pretty quickly just to kind of talk a little bit about what I posted on my hey Catherine to talk about what I posted for my Instagram story this morning, which was my devotional. And I know not everybody is necessarily people of faith. I know you two are. Thank you for joining me. But I wanted to talk about how, even if you're not a person of faith, that there are a lot of concepts and techniques and things from our devotionals or our daily lives that are actually applicable even if you aren't a person of faith. So, for anybody who hasn't seen my devotional for this morning, you can go ahead and check it out really quickly and pop on back. But basically, and I felt like it was very relevant for today's times because it really talks about when you're going through a tough time in your life, what you can really do about that. So the first point that it makes is that's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely true, and I think a lot of people don't realize that the concepts that we talk about in religion and faith really are applicable just in terms of general self-care and coping skills. So I underlined some points in my devotional in the picture on my Instagram story, and the first point really that it made was that it basically said don't waste your energy on things that you have no control over. This is particularly relevant today in the wake of Irma, and I mean I know Irma's still doing her thing in the South, and my parents and a lot of family, my grandmother, cousins, aunts, uncles, lots of friends from growing up are in the middle of everything from Irma, and so I was really quite stressed out, more stressed out than I realized this weekend. And for a little while, thank you, Catherine. For a little while, I didn't even realize how stressed out I was until I really sat and thought about it. Like, wow, I'm worried. Yes, that's a good point too. um, and that I was really stressed out because it was the first time. I mean, there have been many hurricanes that have come and gone between now and since I left home from after finishing high school, but my parents are older now, and this was a major storm. Like, they've been talking about Irma for a long time, and even though I've been through Katrina and my parents, couldn't do anything about that when I was in grad school, but I was wasting some of my energy on things that I couldn't control on this hurricane, and so that's the first point that a lot of people who are people of faith really get to benefit from, is that being a person of faith and believing in God allows you to kind of sit and say, you know what, this is beyond my control, I need to let it go. So whether you're a person of faith or not, the lesson still needs to be learned that you do have to say, I can't do anything about it. All I can do, and sorry for the pun, is ride the wave, of what's going on around you, is literally weather the storm, hunker down, do what you can, ride through the storm, and the storm will end eventually. So that's point number one, like, don't waste your energy on things that you can't control. Point number two was that it said that you should pray, but refuse to let the thoughts haunt you. And I love that. I love that, because again, we pray and we pray and we pray, but then we forget to not perseverate about it after we're done praying. And sometimes even prayer can become perseverative. That if it's something that you kind of continually go back to, but you're not letting it go, if you're not doing that first part, it becomes perseverative, and it's doing way more than what it's supposed to be doing. So, I kind of wrote down pray, but don't perseverate. And then for a person who's not of faith, the point is still important. Make a plan for what's bothering you, how you're going to tackle it, and then put that plan in action and let it go. Go through the steps that you need to do, but don't get get bogged down by those negative thoughts and those worries. Again, easier said than done because I'm a professional at this and I was totally perseverating about this hurricane this weekend. So not expecting perfection by any stretch of the imagination, but once I came to that realization of I'm really worrying about this hurricane way more than I need to, it became easier to let it go. Oh, and updates from my from my mom, from my parents, of course, to know that everybody was doing okay. That also helped. So yeah, I did what I needed to do. I prayed about it. I enacted a plan that I was going to text my mom every couple of hours just to make sure that everything was okay. And then she started replying back every couple of hours as well. I enacted my plan, and once I did that, the worry really started to lift. 2 more points and then I'll let you ladies go. So the third point that the devotional made was use your time to push back the darkness. Oh, love this. So, while you're going through the storm, there are other things that you should be doing with your life in the meantime. So, you see a lot of preparation that happened for Irma, right? And for Harvey as well, the evacuations, people boarding up their houses. My parents put the shutters up around the house. But then what do you do once once you're barricaded in and you're kind of in the middle of the storm? What do you do? Well, you have to find things to preoccupy your time. That's why some people will listen to the radio for updates, but don't stay stuck on that. You have to do other things as well. Sometimes it's doing an activity, reading a book, and in psychology terms, we like to call this behavioral activation. So this means get yourself busy so that you are not focusing on those negative things that you're worried about. And what you find is that you actually start to find enjoyment in the activities that you're doing. So it not only takes your mind off of that negative situation that's bothering you, but you actually find that you're enjoying yourself amidst this difficult time. It works. You got to try it. Yes, and it does. It applies to so much. It really, really does. And that's why I love the ability to kind of take things from the spiritual side of things, because I've born and raised in the church, gone to church my whole life, full disclosure there. And Catherine, you know that because we were in gospel ensemble together at Princeton. So, that there's so much within it. There's a reason why being a person of faith and being religious, being spiritual becomes a protective factor for like mental illness. So yeah, behavioral activation. Don't try not to just be stuck in the situation. Find something that you can do to help yourself to be preoccupy your mind. And lastly, fourth point, so thank you for hanging in there with me. Last one, the point that was made, and I should say the devotional is Jesus Always, is the name of it. I'm forgetting the name of the author. I think it's Sarah something, but the book is called Jesus Always. And so the fourth point was to focus on God. If you're not a person of faith, it's that same kind of idea. So the behavioral activation is do something differently. This aspect would be to focus your mind on something else. And so what I tend to do in session with people is I do thought stopping, and then we redirect that to like positive imagery. So first is, as we talked about earlier, stop your perseveration, and then you have to have something else to focus your mind on. So positive imagery would be focusing on, an enjoyable vacation that you once went on. So, and I don't mean this to be funny. I'm being serious in this example I'm about to give. Is, in the middle of the hurricane, try to imagine that you're on a beautiful beach in the Maldives, which happens to be like my dream vacation spot. And it might be difficult. I'm not saying you're going to be able to pull it off completely, but trying to envision yourself in somewhere that you would rather be, or someplace that you've actually been. So I've been extremely fortunate to have taken a trip to Maui, and for me, when I do start to get really stressed out, I picture nighttime in Maui, on the Pacific Ocean, the sand under my feet, the little crabs kind of crawling all around. That's my positive place that helps me to calm down and relax. Behavioral activation is I talk about it with everybody, with all of my clients. So positive imagery is super important important because it does allow you to focus your thoughts on something else other than those negative thoughts. And it's going to be difficult at first. I have people come in and say, yeah, I tried that thought stopping and my mind just kept going back and going back. And I said, it will. It absolutely will. But then it won't do it quite so much anymore because you're going to get used to thinking about something positive. So those are my 4 points for today. 1, don't waste your energy on things that you can't control. 2, don't perseverate. 3, behavioral activation. Get out there and make yourself do something different. And 3, focus your thoughts on something different. Stop those negative thoughts and find something positive to think about. If you do those 4 things, whether you frame it within spirituality and religion or within psychology, these are still really important life coping skills that will help you to manage those situations that are really difficult. So what I plan on doing, hopefully maybe later in the week, is to actually have a post in a little bit more detail on what I did to kind of handle my own worry and anxiety about my family in Florida. You're very welcome. You're very welcome, Elise. So it was really fun. I hope to do these a little bit more frequently. We'll see. I'm trying to make sure I'm scheduling my time. Well, I actually had a client cancel, so I had a little bit extra time to do it. But yeah, I hope to do these a little bit more frequently for you guys. I'm gonna save the story. Hopefully I won't mess that up. I'll save it here. I'll actually post it to my YouTube as well. I may put little clips here and there, but this was definitely a lot of fun. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you'd like to, feel free to share it with other people. But like I said, I'm going to try to do this more regularly. I'm going to try to post my devotionals regularly because I think there's a lot in there that can help me to better connect with people, and it gives you a little snippet of my life. But like I said, I think later in the week I'm going to post about the revelation that I had in terms of my own anxiety about my family and friends in Florida, and I was literally having like physical issues about it. And then I also hope to have a few more posts for Suicide Awareness Month, and hopefully maybe a YouTube video as well, to post about warning signs. So thank you, ladies, for tuning in, and to anybody who happens to watch this later on when I post it on YouTube or up on my Instagram as well. Thank you all for tuning in. This was a lot of fun, and I will try to make this a more regular thing. I hope you guys enjoy your Monday. Oh, and this is totally your Monday motivation, actually. So don't forget the 4 points. Don't waste your energy. Don't perseverate. Behavioral activation. Do something differently. And focus your thoughts on something else. All right, everybody. Take care. Bye.